Hello and welcome to a new series on this channel where I analyse the weird mistakes in each episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. If you haven't seen me analyse episode 1, there's a link to it right there. That'll open in a new tab or there's a link in the description. Anyway, let's get started on episode 2 because there are a billion mistakes and I don't want this video to go for 10 years. Okay, so episode 2 is entitled High Five. Now the first thing we see is the Rangers hanging out at the youth centre where we learn that Trini, the Yellow Ranger, has a fear of heights. After some more rope climbing shenanigans, it cuts to Rita Repulsa on her moon base and we hear her say this.
Power Rangers are gonna wish they never tangled with me! I'll trap them in a time warp the same way I did Zordon, and when I'm through, the world is going to be mine!
Apparently now she kind of wants to take over Earth, which is weird because in the first episode, the very first thing she said when she came out the dumpster was that she was going to destroy Earth. But now she wants to own Earth? Next it cuts back down to the Power Rangers and Billy explains that he's invented a watch that can communicate with Zordon's base, but it malfunctions and accidentally teleports them to Zordon's base. Billy. Now we cut back to Rita and her gang on the moon and we see their time device, which you may notice is just an exact tiny replica of the space shuttle that the astronauts used in episode 1. Why the hell is the time device a tiny space shuttle, you might ask? Well, as I've mentioned before, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is not 100% original footage. Many of the scenes are taken from a Japanese show called Dinosaur Squadron Beast Ranger and they're just dubbed over with English lines to fit a new story. Now in the Japanese show, it was established early on that the two astronauts we see weren't the only ones in the shuttle. There were two kids. Now Rita shrunk down the space shuttle and used those children as hostages. But this storyline is completely omitted from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, so the reason that the time device is a space shuttle, no reason, makes no sense. So now they launch this time device to go and shoot a time portal thing and it's driving around the streets of Earth and eventually it stops and shoots a very colourful time portal. Now this time portal is detected by Zordon, so he teleports the Rangers to go and fight some putty patrollers while he analyses the time device. Now during this fight, Billy and Trini run off from the group in an attempt to spread out and make the fight easier. Billy gets trapped very high on a cliff and Trini has to conquer her fear of heights to save him. Oh, that's nice. Rita sees the putties gets defeated and she sends down a monster called Bones, who for some reason she sends down to an amusement park. Now why did she send him down to an amusement park instead of, I don't know, right next to the Power Rangers she was trying to capture? Well, the reason is because the scenes from the Japanese show happened in an amusement park and they can't change it. Now Bones quickly uses his flying head to transport the Power Rangers into his time portal. Now this weird time dimension is like some creepy area where they have to fight Bones and also a bunch of other creepy skeleton dudes. Eventually they defeat Bones by taking his head off and throwing it into a hole. Now are you ready for this? Because a bunch of dumb stuff happens very quickly. Rita gets mad and sends down to Earth a giant medieval knight. If you watch carefully, you will also notice that Rita's entire castle gets teleported down with him, even though it does not appear later in the episode. We see the knight smash his hand through a building and pick up the Red Ranger, so obviously that entire time dimension was located entirely within a skyscraper downtown. This close-up of the Red Ranger shows a quarry in the background, even though we just saw him come out of a building. The other Rangers get out the time dimension and now they are also in a quarry. The Red Ranger calls for Dinosaur Power, but for some reason only one of the dinosaurs actually show up. What is going on? Now I should mention that in the Japanese show these scenes were taken from the time dimension was actually described more like an illusion. And that kind of makes sense, right? They thought they were in a weird dimension but really they were in a skyscraper downtown. It just makes me wonder though, why did the American writers suddenly call it a time warp and talk about time travel and stuff? It had nothing to do with time travel. They could have kept calling it an illusion and it would have made more sense. Moving on, the knight gets defeated and then the Rangers are celebrating at the youth centre and Zack scares Trini so much she climbs a rope. The end. So that was episode 2. What the hell? Not a lot of sense happening there. Can I just remind you guys, I love Power Rangers. I do like it, but it's dumb. Anyway, please meet me down in the comment section and let's talk about other mistakes in this episode, or mistakes from episode 1, or mistakes from episode 3 coming up. Episodes, let's talk about them. Like this video and subscribe if you want to see more Power Rangers stuff. That's all.